تشرفنا اليوم الباحثة مهيتاب مصطفى صبحي محمد حافظ، والتي ستقدم لنا رؤية عن A Comparative Study on Machine Translation versus Human Translation.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, my dear.
First of all, I'd like to warmly welcome all the guests and esteemed doctor before I start my introduction.
Of course. So let's start by giving us a brief introduction about the reason behind writing down your thesis.
Well, with the rise of development and science and the human desire to make life easier, it's not astonishing that efforts have been put to make life easier and a machine translation as a result have been developed. This study aims to explore the differences, accuracies, and complementary roles for machine translation and human translation. It also states that as globalization accelerates, translators play a crucial role in gapping linguistic culture and nuance and make the culture exchange more easier and more understanding.
Okay, so what were the objectives behind your study?
Well, I have seen that in my research that a lot of people refuse to use machine translation rather than do efforts on their own. However, it depends on the cost, the purpose, and the audience, and the companies that need fast and efficient translation. I see at the end of my research that it's best to integrate both machine translation and human translation for best results. As for machine translation, it can't capture and still struggles to capture the nuance, the culture, context, the purpose, the author's voice. It can't translate the figurative language, the idiom, the expressions.
This was my third question, which was the negative side of machine translation. So what were the results that you came up by comparing these two methods together?
Well, first of all, I found that some machine translation tools like Google and Double have used some tools like hyper tools and rule-based type machine to improve their quality. However, they still struggle to capture the context, the nuance, the author's voice, the tone, the emotional voice as well, which, by the way, it can be replaced the human efforts, which is more effective and more efficient due to the cultural exchange for the author himself and for the tone and for the voice.
Would I ask you some question which I haven't already covered during our online discussion? It's regarding using AI in translation.
Well,
what if you compared the way Google translate the text and AI translate? Have you figured out the difference between these two parts?
Yes, sure. I am going to go through a personal experience, yes. When I was studying at the Sorbonne University, I refused to translate a text, an extract from a novel. I asked the AI to translate it, to make a commentary, to find 3 problems and to develop them. What I have figured out that it didn't capture the author's voice and tone. However, it made a commentary with professional grammar, sentence structure, and it's very fast. For the matter of time, it finishes in just a few minutes. However, it didn't provide me with the intent meaning that the author really intended to convey throughout his writing.
So it requires human modifications.
Yes, it requires human modification, proofreading, post-editing, and both together we will find better results.
Very impressive. So let's sum up by highlighting your recommendations that came out of your research.
Yes. Sorry, just a second. Well, for the first recommendation, I recommend encouraging collaboration between human translators and machine tools to create a more efficient and accurate translation process. It's better to integrate both of them to improve post-editing, workflows, and proofreading. Also, develop machine translation may system that better understand culture context, idiomatic expressions, rhetorical style, and figurative language would improve the way that machine translation can provide us with the translation later on in the future. But I still say that human translation can be replaced.
Do you have any further recommendations for other researchers who are going to follow your steps?
Yes.
Or for your own self later on when you make a more advanced research regarding the same topic?
Well, I think it's better to conduct more case studies and comparing machine translation and human translation outputs across different text types and languages.
Thank you so much for your effort and congratulations, my dear. Thank you.
you.